Welcome to Japanese from Zero. We are continuing course 4, lesson 4 of course 2, and we're going to just talk about multiple ways to say the same thing. We talked about this a little bit in a prior video, I believe, but let's just make sure that we review a little bit of this, because the longer you know Japanese, the more you learn Japanese, the more you're going to see that things can be said multiple ways. And a lot of times for a new student, this causes some confusion and it gives them frustration that's not really needed, because a lot of times both ways are going to be perfectly fine. So let's look at this one that was in this lesson, where how big is your family, or how many are in your family, and this was one of the questions. So let's go ahead and look at, give me a second, the going off the screen here. I'm going to have to push it over a little bit. Sorry about that. Okay, so 家族は何人いますか means how big is your family. 家族は as for your family. 何人いますか how many are there in your family. Or 家族に which is literally in your family. 何人いますか doesn't change the meaning at all. This is exactly the same meaning. Instead of saying as for your family, we're saying in your family. No difference. You could also just say 家族は何人ですか? Because desu ka and imasu ka in this case are the same, right? All right. Or we could say 何人家族ですか? Now this one is just for family things. Like you typically wouldn't say a counter, like what counter word plus object without something. You would normally, remember we would have a no in here for other objects, but because it's a family thing, it's a very common question. Over time that no got dropped and it's so familiar that it's not bad or wrong in Japanese to say 何人家族ですか? Okay. All right. Oh, all of those are literally the exact same sentence. So you have a lot of leeway in speaking Japanese if you know the grammar behind all of these. Okay? Where is it? Seems like a very straightforward thing, right? But in English, we only have one version of where is it. But in Japanese, we know 3, right? We know the very basic, oops, I forgot to put that on the screen. We know the very basic, どこですか? どこですか? Where is it? That's the most simplest way. But you'll also hear, どこにありますか? Which is sort of the first 4 lessons of this book. Book 2 are really dealing a lot with imasu and arimasu because it's so important. And here we're saying, どこにありますか? But the difference between どこですか and どこにありますか is we have more information in the どこにありますか sentence. There's one thing that we know. We know that in どこにありますか we are not talking about people, animals, or anything alive. We're only talking about an inanimate or non-living object, okay? どこにいますか also in English only translates to where is it? And we have more information. We know that right now, if someone says to you, just they look right at you, actually they wouldn't look at you. Let's say they're on the phone. If they're on the phone, どこにいますか? If someone asks you that on the phone, it means where are you? Right? We know that if we hear どこにいますか without any context at all, we know that どこにいますか must be something alive. It's probably a person. If the topic was my mother, and that's all we were talking about, and then I said どこにいますか? I mean, where is she? If the topic was, let's say I had a puppy, and the puppy, I was talking about how cute my puppy was, and they said 今, now, どこにいますか? Where is it now? We know we're talking about the puppy. Okay? It's all contextual. All right? Now let's look at have. What happens to have? Because we know that ありますか and いますか can also mean have. But notice that in these sentences, どこにありますか is not where do you have it. It doesn't work that way. In this case, どこにありますか location is. Where is it? Where is it? Now let's look at how do we get it to mean have. If you have a ga, it's definitely a have. That's the difference. So 車がありますか? Do you have a car? 車がありますか? 車がありますか? What if I said 彼女がいますか? 彼女がいますか? That means it can mean 2 things, right? 彼女がいますか can mean is she there? It can also mean, is your girlfriend there? It can also mean, do you have a girlfriend? Do you have a girlfriend? It's all context. It's all about what's happening in the... If you first meet somebody and they say, 彼女がいますか? You know they don't know anybody about your life. There was no prior person discussed. So in this case, it means, do you have a girlfriend? どこにいますか? Now this one, because it's not ga, it can't be anything but where is it? Okay? I'm trying to think. If I said どこがありますか? Let's say I said どこがありますか? That means where is there? Where, like maybe we're talking about, oh, where can we eat today? We don't know where we want to eat. Well, what's around here? You could say 何がありますか? What is there? But you can also say どこがありますか? Where is there? Which is very similar to not what we say in English. What is there around here to eat? All right, hopefully that sheds some light on what happens when things are similar. Sometimes you do have to know small nuances, but most of the time you don't. You just, over time, you're going to know that you could say the same thing multiple different ways. See you all on the next Japanese from Zero. Bye!